This is, of course, from the third floor. The room at the front, printer's room. I'm standing at the moment on the balcony of the printer's room. We're looking east towards the sky tree, and the ginkgo trees are looking pretty good. This is the eastern entrance to our street. Look, Lordy, look, Lordy. I keep forgetting to wipe my feet. The girls get upset. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Audio is having rain. Are we back to normal, the audio? I have two audio feeds here. One from the camera outside and one from the mic on my chest, which was doing Wi-Fi back to the computer. Really, the Wi-Fi wouldn't connect that far. Okay, anyway, here we are. We're up on the third floor. That's the outside camera. We have, of course, other cameras. Just a sec, let's get these sorted out. This stuff here, it's what do you call it? It's a light on an arm. I'm sitting at one of the printing benches that way, and the light, whatever, the computer is on top of the my buckle. I'm surprised by the audio though. I have a mic here which is going wireless to the computer, and when I stood outside, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 meters away. It wouldn't go. Anyway, here we are. Okay, we are printing today. Now, what's the best way to do this as far as camera setups go? It would be better if we had borders on these camera boxes. Can we do these? Can we show borders? Transform. I don't think OBS lets me do that. It might, but I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm facing the bench here. This is the block. That's the paper waiting to be printed. I have at my right-hand side, if I face the camera down a minute, I have at my right-hand side a bench, a little platform at the same height as a printing bench. I've been mixing colors this morning, getting ready for this. Haven't got some brushes yet. Normal printing is you take the paper from the front box, you print it, you throw it over on the out stack. We're not going to do that today because we're only going to be using 2 or 3 sheets of paper. This is all test printing. In fact, the block set, I'm trying to do too many things here, just a sec. The block set today is a version block set. It hasn't been used. So we're not going to be using a ton of paper. We don't need a production line in, out, in, out. I'm going to be printing, trying to get a bit of paper, mixing some more colors. So it's not going to be steady professional printing today. This is all going to be just testing, testing, testing. The key block has been printed once because of course we had to do the transfer sheets. So the key block has been printed. This is a block set carved for us by Taran-san, based on designs by the Atelier, the French couple, Cécile and Olivier. I don't remember his spelling of his name. And there's going to be, I think, there's 1, 2, 3. That one gets 2 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus the key block. We're probably going to have 9 impressions today. Are we going to get a beautiful print yet today? I don't think so, for a few reasons. One is I'm going to be struggling with the color balances here, trying to get it look nice. And second, we are testing paper today. I brought back paper from the Monday experiments. Those of you who saw it on Monday, I brought back 17 sheets, the group that we had got finished by that time. I don't have here any of the sheets that I tried to make. There was one, I guess. This is the paper. In a word, it is beautiful in appearance. Very, very beautiful. Whether or not it's going to suit our work, we're still not sure. It looks and feels very delicate and very soft. So it might not actually produce the deep, rich colors that we need for this work. We don't know yet. But my God, it's beautiful paper. This is, the ones in front of me here are unsized. Yesterday morning, what day is it today? It's Thursday morning here. Wednesday morning, I got back Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, I sized 2 sheets of this. Each of these sheets is enough to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of our print here, and I sized 2 sheets of it. I didn't size more than that because I don't know what size level is going to be suitable for this kind of print, for this kind of paper. So rather than spoil the whole batch, I just sized a couple of sheets. And what I have in front of me today here, I have sheets from Murata-san and sheets of our normal paper from Iwano-san. Because if the Murata paper isn't suitable for this work, then we just use our regular Iwano paper. As we're doing this today, you will be able to tell which is which, because what I've done to help sort this out is this. Let me get a few sheets here. I'll start with 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Iwano paper is like this. It's cut exactly to the size of the print. That's going to go in there. We're going to work with these first. 1 sheet, 2 sheets of the Iwano paper. I also moistened last night the Murata paper. Oops. But in order to help us differentiate what's going on, I left the mimi, I left the selvage at the top of the paper. So when you see a long sheet like this with the fuzziness at the end, that's Murata-san's paper. And when you see a short sheet like this with no fuzziness, that's the Iwano paper. So instead of me explaining back and forth all morning long which is which, you can tell what's going on. Now they need to go in here face down. So a run of up to 60, yeah, a run of a batch of prints. I know, because I'm going to be talking and fooling around and maybe mixing more colors. With the colors that are in the bowl right now, I just took a stab at it. I saw the Photoshop sheet from, I don't know, Italy, where are we? Maybe I can add this in. Let me see if I can add this in to show you. Can we show a TIFF image here in OBS? Let's try this. Colors, let me go and find it. Documents, main filing cabinet, temporary working folder, Atelier Cento, 2025, January. No, TIFF doesn't work. This'll work. Let me shrink it so it fits. Just a second. Maybe we can rotate this. Let's see, just a second. Transform, rotate 90 degrees. Right. Okay, these are the colors in this print, but Photoshop colors. These are the raw Photoshop tints. And for 5 of them here, not the bottom left one, but for 5 of them here, you see the same color in a different saturation. I'm not sure if it's saturation or tint. I don't know the usage of the words here. Those are the raw colors. The stronger one is the color itself as we should see it in the bowl, and the top one is the color as it should appear in the print, because these are transparent colors and the white paper will show through. So I've kind of got those in my mind here. That's what I mixed last night and this morning, and that's what we're going to start with. But first, the key block. And this is, I don't know, whatever. When's the last time we did any printing? I did any printing. I literally can't remember. When did I print last? I used to be a printmaker in my past life, before this Asakusa episode. We don't add white itself, we add white by using transparent colors printed on paper. That's really strong. Oh, paste, I didn't. It's okay. Is this the third cat print? No, 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 no. The print we are playing with today here, that has not been ever printed yet, this is the first design in next year's subscription series. We're still wrestling with a title, and our trouble is the titles that we'd like to use all sort of have been used. The sort of target title that we want to use is Dreams of Future Past. And past could be P-A-S-T, or it could be P-A-S-S-E-D. But when we Google this, we find, other stuff, Moody Blues and other stuff. The paste, what we're using is, instead of cooking fresh from rice every morning, this is shoji nori. Shoji nori. It's a commercial product. It seems very similar to what they call methyl cellulose in the West. It's, yeah, use Zs, yeah, that's right. I wonder if that's an idea. If we have better ideas for the title, because we have testing, testing. Can you hear me now? It says full battery, and that one says full battery. What do we got? Transmitter, receiver. That's how far they are. What's going on? This is Rode. Come on, Rode. You've been so good to me. The receiver says full power. It's actually plugged into the computer via USB. The transmitter, it shows about 70% power. They're this close. Some electric buzzing, then it cut out. Should I leave it in front of me here on the shelf? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I can boost it. It sounds like battery. Heard a couple of beeps before it died. I have another transmitter. We have two transmitter units. Tell you what, let's switch transmitter units. This is the alternate one. It has full battery, it seems. Can you hear me now? We've changed transmitter units to an alternate one. The control panel shows full battery on everything. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, Dave, too many things going on as usual. This is why I don't like printing on stream, you know. The printing process requires focus, it requires steady pace, the blocks have to be the right moisture. This is why you don't see me do this very often here, because it's difficult to do when you're getting interrupted all the time. When's the last time you saw one of these? I belong in a 1940s movies, Mr. Smith and his accounting. Someone says, can I clip it back on my collar? Well, I'm getting, it's right in front of you there. I think we're okay. What was I doing? Oh yeah, paste. Garter belt, yes. I don't even know what those things are called. What are these called? I don't know. Armband? I don't know. Okay, we also have, of course, complete junk paper. I have at the top here a stack of copy paper, just to take the first impressions. We don't waste washi when we're trying to see how much pigment is on the block or how much is in the brush. So the first impressions, whatever, are always just like this, just a piece of junk. I can see that the black is perhaps too strong. There's the first design. Have you seen it yet? I don't know. Maybe this is the first public exposure of the first design. I think I'm going to cut these corners off before we go live, Again, test paper. Your wife says she likes this design. As for you, though, it's a different story, is it? Okay.
we get this in the shop, you know. I think it was yesterday, it was a couple will come in or something and whatever, and one of them is a bit shy and whatever, doesn't want to talk. And the other partner, it'll be the he or the she, will say, you know, my partner loves your YouTube videos, can't stop watching them, you know. And if it looks like it's a good mood and they're sort of easygoing people or whatever, I'll say, oh, but you don't. I don't know. Sometimes I do it too much. We joke around a bit too much, you know. The problem for me is, of course, every day the same thing happens, you know. So Dave here, although I'm trying to be polite to people and respectful, when you get asked the same question or said the same things a million times, you yourself want to change things up. You can't just always say exactly the same thing. You become sort of too robotic. But too much banter is sometimes not suitable, not helpful. So. Okay, Iwano paper first. Let's have a look at this. See what. This is a sheet of the Iwano paper. Block is still too wet. If this was production printing, I'd be looking at the amount of black coming through the back. We shouldn't be seeing that much water through the back. So looking at that print then, what's the deal? Days or dreams of future past. What's the deal? I think I was trying to explain it when the mic fritzed a few minutes ago. The Atelier Cento, the couple, Olivier and Cécile, they have a bit of a nostalgic view of Japan. They're not really too interested in ultra-modern Japan. They like the older-fashioned, quiet Japan with the older people in the small villages. And so the attempt with this series is to jump ahead to a future Japan, but to look at it with a bit of a nostalgic lens. It's a bit of a different series coming up this year. Someone's asking, are these prints on the new paper from last stream? Hang on, there's 4 sheets of paper in here right now for this initial testing. 2 sheets of our normal paper from Iwano-san. This is Iwano-san paper. And 2 sheets that were made on Monday morning during the stream. All of next year's prints, it's a complete series being designed by Atelier Cento. They've already basically roughed out for me all 12 of them. I have sketches for all 12. They're not all finished in terms of design yet, but I do have all 12 sketched out, and I've given them the go-ahead to produce this series. So yes, we're going to do this. What kind of paper it will be printed on, that's part of what we're deciding today. But yes, it's going to be something like Dreams of Future Past, designed by Atelier Cento, published by Mokuhankan. That's next year's concept. The first one is finished carving-wise. The second one is almost finished carving. Carving on the third one starts any day now. We are way, way, way ahead of this. Okay, this next sheet of paper now is paper made on Monday morning, a few days ago. Not by me. This is one of the sheets rocked by Murata-san, of course. tell you what we should do too. We should number these, I think. I don't mean edition numbering, but we should number these so I know what we're doing here. Just a second. Let me do the 4. So far the paper feels good. What I did for the moistening and for the sizing is I just treated it exactly the same as the Iwano paper. It could be that it will need a little less moistening, I think. It's a bit soft paper, and if we have the same moisture level, it might start to tear when we print the colors. So it might need less moistening, a bit harder shape. Just a minute, comparison. We'll have lots of comparisons. Just hang on, just hang on. The point of comparison is going to come mostly when we have stacked up colors, colors on top of each other stacking up. That's when we'll really need to compare these things. When the two prints are dry, we can see stacked colors and we can see how deep they went into the paper. Side-by-side comparisons this morning are not going to tell us very much. Yes, somebody's got a good question there. If Murata-san boils the next group for longer, and that's not if, that's for sure, but this is already decided, she's going to treat the next batch quite differently based on what we learned from this one. So yes, it's going to be an ongoing process. Okay, so far so good. Now let me get my pencil then. Let's do something here. We've got, these are the 4 sheets, 1, 2. So we'll just, so we'll just do this. We'll put some corner numbers. 1, can we see this? We'll just put some corner numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4 on these first 4 sheets. Keep them under cover. They're going to get dry. It's really, 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 really dry here in Asakusa. If I don't keep these things covered up, now, there's something else about test printing and real printing. When we do real printing, we print the key blocks on the first day. The paper is moistened usually the day before. We print the key blocks and the key block only during the first day. The paper then sits aside at least for 1 evening before we come back for the color printing. Why? Because if we print the key block first and it's got a rich black and it's got paste on it, whatever, then when we start to print the colors right on top of it, the black lines smear and smudge. And we're going to see a bit of that this morning because I can't say, okay everybody, goodbye for now, come back 24 hours from now to see the next color. So test printing, we're going to muck around a little bit. I've kept this black light, not too much paste, and try to avoid making it smear and smudge. But we are probably, if I put good pressure in to print the colors, we're going to see some edge fuzzing on these black lines. That can't be helped with test printing. Another part of it is when we stack up colors, we never print one color and a few minutes later print the next color on top. You can't do that. They smear, they smudge. Where should I put this? So today is test printing. Okay, which color first? Oh, actually, I have no choice. The next color has to be the second key block. This print has 2 key blocks. So that's chosen. The second one has to be that, or we'll never get it lined up. haven't got a brush. One sec while I go get a brush. Excuse me. Teal. I need a brush for teal. Let's see, what should I use? A blue brush or a green brush? No, too hard, my God. It's not so much a double key block, it's that one of the color blocks incorporates some quite thin lines, and some of those thin lines serve as the border for another color. And rather than trying to explain it to whatever, you can see the concept. For example, these bamboo strings here, the bamboo stalks, the black outlines here serve as the border for the green color that's going to come into them later on. But there's another part of the picture in the middle here where there are objects in the distance, and they can't be done at the same level of darkness as the key block on the foreground because they are in the distance. So the design has been split up. So it's not really two key blocks, but it's outline work in the foreground and outline work in the background. And the outline work in the background, to make it clear that it's in the distance, will be done with a fainter, different color. It'll be done with a teal rather than black. This Vivid KP, she's translated for it. It says kusa. Now we have brushes here. They're in groups. We would never use a red brush to print blue. We would never use a brush that we use for yellow to print black, because as much as we wash them and wash them and wash them, you never get it all out. But we can play with them in groups. And there's a group of brushes back there that are used for greens and dark greens. And this is one. Kusa means grass, and it's the name for a traditional Japanese color. Not a light green, it's a fairly dark green. So because I'm doing teal here today, that's the brush I can use safely. And this color, even if it doesn't all totally wash out, it will be fine when the next person tries to print with it with a green. You know, a red brush can be used for a light brown, stuff like this. We can't keep 1,000 brushes for every possible tint we ever print with. No registration here, just whatever. Where were we? This is the first one. Let's print it with registration, you can see. Of course, what we're doing today is also a registration test. Are the blocks okay? Are they carved deeply enough? Do the registration marks match up? So this is a block test today, of course, as well. Are we having fun? How's our time? 9:36. Okay, a couple of things about what's happening today. I don't know if we're going to be able to get all of this done. I've got only 4 sheets here today. Whether I can finish these 4 sheets in the time allotted, I don't know. So let's see how it goes. That's the reason I'm only using 4 pieces of paper, because we might have a chance to actually get through this. People are making suggestions, future dreams of the past, whatever. I know, keep them coming. I know, use your brains here. The trial title for this is Dreams of Future Past. Not quite sure how to spell past. If you've got any other ideas, please toss them over, because we have been wrestling with this now for months. We want a title. Dreams of Future Past doesn't even actually tell us about Japan. So if we could incorporate Japan too, that would be cool. We want to jump forward to a future Japan. Some of these prints are going to be actually taking place past Jupiter, out in outer space. Some of them are, whatever. It's going to be a real future environment, but we want to have a nostalgic Japanese feel to it. This may be a good idea, it may not be a good idea, but whatever. We're in for it now. That's what we're doing. So any suggestions about a possible title would be much appreciated, please. Maybe even could incorporate French words, given. Now, something about this idea of 2 key blocks. We won't know until I get to the end. Are these 2 key blocks perfectly registered? Imagine this. I told you before, it's going to dry. I told you before, the green bamboo has to fit inside the black outlines. There will be some kind of colors fitting inside the rocket outlines. There are going to be some colors that's supposed to fit inside both. Color X might have to fit inside the first key block and also inside the second key block. So if those 2 key blocks, if I don't have the registration here quite right, then when I try and print color X later, it'll fit in A, but it won't fit in B. So this registration right now is super, super critical. But I won't know about such problems until I get to them. We have audio outside. Should I turn it off? Is there too much crappy noise out there? What are they doing? Can we see? We can't see. Again, Iwano paper, you can tell. This short square paper, this is from Iwano-san. Printing, oh my God, printing. Too much pressure. Will the series incorporate other technologies or many space related? No, it's not. It's not a series about space. I'm sorry. The first one has a rocket, and I mentioned something else is going to be outside of Jupiter. But no, I'm sorry. A lot of them will be taking place here on Earth. It's just a future. It's a future Japan. You know, there's going to be a bit of like, one of them has a sort of a Blade Runner Tokyo mood to it. So I'm sorry about that. No, it's not all about space and flying around the universe. No. Sorry. We see some Japanese countryside. We will see, you know, the countryside that they knew in Niigata, but jumped ahead 100 years, 200 years, whatever. So no, I'm sorry. It's not about space, all of it. Not even most of it, I'm sorry. We're going to have an apocalyptic flood. There's going to be a sleeping cat. There's going to be whatever, all kinds of things. So yeah, how do you choose a title without knowing what it's all going to be? I'm sorry, but this is the Murata paper. So far, it's behaving, completely normally. I can tell which one is which from the feel. It is softer. It's gonna work, this stuff is gonna work. Send a fax to Itchyzen, please. Tell her, all systems go. Or speaking a bit too soon. Let me get some body colors printed and see how it works. But so far, it's looking good. Some saying this series will be very popular. I know. Can I say this next part or not? Whatever. Dave here wants to make good prints. That's like, I'm here in Japan because I enjoy printmaking and love the feel of the pigments and paper and want to make good prints. That's the core of what this dude here is doing. But I actually run a business with 30 odd employees, 32 employees. I have to meet payroll. Payroll is tomorrow, actually this month's payroll. Now, of course, we're going to meet it. We're doing fine right now. We're very, very well. We're doing well. But what I'm getting to here is there's a businessman, David, here, who has to plan his business to make sure everybody can survive. All my employees have a good living. At the moment, because the last two series were quite popular, the Hokusai series had over 400 subscribers, nearly 450 subscribers. The Kyoto Journey had 250 subscribers. Those are now finished. So our subscriber base, 2 weeks from now, the end of December, our subscriber base drops from 450 plus 200 odd, well, it drops by 600 people. So our income in January, if I do nothing, our income in January drops by 600 plus subscribers. Now, I've known this. This is normal. I've been doing subscriptions since 1989. This happens every year. The subscription base drops to near zero. And you got to do it again for the next year. This is not new. This is part of the business model that I chose. Let's do green next. Get some bamboo tint in there. So of course, for the last half a year, I've been thinking about this. The point I'm getting to is that I need this next year because the last two series were so strong. I need a dynamite series this year. So, switch designers, go to something new. Atelier Sento, they are hardworking, well-respected young couple. I like their work. They're eager to do this, eager to please, eager to try and work hard to make good designs. Check number one. Check number two, good original work of a type we haven't done before. Check number three, if we can use this paper, then this is another, what's the word, what can I say? It's not a promotion point, but it's another appeal point. If we can use this paper, a new paper making workshop starting up, that ties in with this, that will really help collect a bunch more subscribers, I think. And then another thing we're thinking about is I'm going to do the first batch, the first printing. Starting next week, if this test printing works out, I get to work. I do the printing. So check. If we can get 300 subscribers, I don't need 600, that's impossible, but if we can get 300 subscribers, that will set us safely off for the next few months. Whispers from the past. Okay, lots of titles. I'm not going to comment specifically on each title you're suggesting. Just keep pouring them in. Thank you very much. I'm not going to say yes, yes, no, no, yes, no, yes, no. Pour them in. Chat with yourself about possible titles. I will very, very, very much read them later. Yeah, somebody said keep them clean, keep them simple. It can't be 10 words long. Okay, next brush. We're going to do the bamboo. So I need another brush for green. Can't use that same one, of course. It's full of teal. What we're doing for the brushes, can I show you? I don't know if the camera will shoot this far. This is the printer's room here. Next door is an alcove. There's the fridge where they store their lunch. And I guess we can't see it. Can we zoom in? I don't know if we can see it. There's a rack there with brushes, and there's a rack with brushes drying, sticking, and hanging up there. I don't think you can see it. Let me just go over there. Hang on a sec. Brushes, brushes, brushes. It's a rack that slopes up and it's got spaces, and there are brushes in here all arranged by size and type and color. I need a green one for the bamboo, but a little bit bigger. Let's just do this. Let's get a green brush. There's brushes also hanging up here. I need a cameraman. Is that where we were? Somewhere in there? Moistening the back, it should stick and pop. Get some paste. When will the subscription go live? I will be making the year-end video soon, and the year-end video should be published on YouTube around December 15th to December 20th. It's our year-end update. In the year-end video, I will give an overview of what we've done in the past year, the series that are just finished, etc., etc. And as part of the year-end video, I will announce the new series is now, I will explain what it is, and I will say it now goes live. And what I will do is, at the moment that I upload that YouTube video, I will turn on the switch for subscribing to this series. So it's going to be December 15th to the 20th. That's the window that I'm planning. Before that, I've got to, of course, verify that we can make the darn things, make a website for it, get some pictures. None of that preparation has been done yet. And it's December 5th now. So the next week or so, Dave is a very busy little black duck. You're still giving titles. Thank you. Keep pouring them in. There is no single character. With the Atelier Cento work, a lot of it, they've got the same characters they use through their different designs. This series, we will not see one character, two characters. It's going to be different people. Whenever there are human beings or creatures, they won't be the same person. So it's not a single story because it's going to jump back in time and in location. Lots of comments I can't read. I'm sorry. Maybe there's questions. Jacques asked something I missed. Yes, you're talking about the average subscribers. Yes, the Hokusai series had double the subscribers of Kyoto Journey. So when I say 600, of course, that's on a 2-month rotating basis. So if I can pick 300 for this series, that'll pull us to the same level. We don't need 300 to survive. I mean, our business is going very, very well. We could survive for months just on Asakusa. But in the long term, of course, our subscription model is what this business is built on. There's no panic here. There's no panic. Whether I can jump out of the gun to 300. In fact, because I'm the one doing the printing for the first month, I would kind of, if it's not quite 300, I'm sort of not so upset about that. Okay, what tint have we got here? I think I need a bit of a stronger Baron. The Baron I chose first was a Baron for printing key blocks. It's very, very flat, very delicate. For printing colors, we need one that's a bit stronger. Now, I can't open it and show you, but the nubs inside, the bumps inside, are a bit more coarse. And if I were printing good, deep, rich, flat color over the whole thing, I would need a much stronger barren than this. It's tsubaki abura, camellia oil. Well, now that's dried. Okay, this is one part of the print where we are going to be having multiple tones printed on it. So what you see here is not what you get in all places. You'll see as it goes on. What I want here is a basic bamboo grove color. Fairly light. And again, the color that we see in the bowl is not what we're going to see on the print. Let's compare them side by side here. Oh, this block is dry, 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 dry. That's another part of the difficulty when testing, because the blocks are bone dry, never been used. Also, once we've done 100 prints, 200 prints, 300 prints, this block will have green embedded in it. You couldn't print without getting green, but at the moment, that's not there. This is a raw, bare piece of dry wood. It takes time to build it up. Okay, Iwano paper. Where it is. Is there something in the middle? Yeah, there's an obi. This piece of wood's a bit too hard too. Softer wood would have been nicer, but beggars here cannot be choosers right now. Another aspect to this testing too is I'm doing this green now. I'm going to do a light one and a darker one. I don't have any idea really what the depth of this green should be in the finished print. There are going to be layers on top of it. So as part of testing, I keep a variance here. There will be some of these lighter and some of these darker. It's not because I'm an incompetent printer here, it's because I need variation to help me decide what to do when we make the real impressions. So here's a lighter green. I didn't put much pigment. In fact, I didn't put any pigment on this one. I let it go with what's in the brush. This is Murata paper. It's looking good, looking good, looking good. Now let's make it darker. there's a registration mark. There's a corner cut here. People are asking, let me print this. Let me print this, then I'll explain. People are asking how the lining up is working. I don't think we have a bot command for that. One second. I know there are registration marks. I guess people are asking, are they? I don't know. In the corner, there's an L mark carved here, and there's a lip carved. The paper goes in the registration corner. I hold it. Over here it goes in the lip. I hold it. So that's the paper location. And every one of the blocks has the same thing. An L mark in one corner, and a lip partway along. There's the lip, and there's the corner. And the paper goes into those, and part of the carver's art, the carver's craft, is to get those lined up on every block. Okay, we're going to go, another rule about when you're printing. We don't, as much as possible, we don't want to print on top of the same area at the same, in sequence. Something that we've just printed, we want to leave that area alone. So there might be a second green here. I'm not going to put it on top right now. We're going to move to somewhere else. And I need a reddish brush. 1 second, let me go and get another one, excuse me. Small red brush. This is just water first, just to wet the brush up. Urashima Taro idea. Yeah, there's an idea there. Nay. The thing is, it's not one person, and we're going to visit different environments. Nay. Was I complaining about the paper in 2017? Do tell. Do tell, do tell, do tell. These are horsehair brushes. Yes, the brushes are horsehair. And what part of the horse? Mane, tail, whatever, I don't know. It's all a blend. And the people, the guy, Sekine-san, he's gone now. He died of lung cancer, killed himself by smoking 10 cigarettes at a time for 50 years. Used to go into his workshop, and I go in the front door and you sort of can't see the guy. There's literally, I'm not making this up, there's a haze. You can see there's a haze up top and there's a bit of clear air. That's how much freaking smoke was in that room. No windows open, no nothing. There's a physical haze. When you sat down on the floor, you were sort of below it a little bit. Oh. He'd have a cigarette going never out of his fingers. He'd put it down. He'd start another one before the first one is finished. The first one's maybe got halfway down. He'd start another one. Talk about addict, the guy. I hugely respect his brush making skills were astonishing. Astonishing. But, I'd be there one day, I'm visiting, just whatever, I can't help the haze, but whatever can't be helped. And I brought a couple of brushes back that I've got from him, because the problem is, I ordered a new brush. He says, what blend do you want? What blend do I want? And he's talking about a blend of horse mane, horse tail, summer, winter, Hokkaido, Kyushu, like those 6 sort of things. Northern Japan, southern Japan, summer pick, winter pick, mane and tail. And with those 6 variables, he blends. He's got them all on a rack in front of him. And if I've managed to describe what I want a little bit more koshi. I want it a bit stiffer. He'll say, okay. And he'll maybe decrease the Kyushu thing, put in Hokkaido, put a bit of winter hair that's stiffer. I'm making this up. I don't even know. And then he'd rub a batch and he'd pass it to me and say, what do you think about this? And I have no freaking idea. Once it becomes a brush and I'm trying it, then I know. So he's okay. He knew that I couldn't really tell. So we went back and forth with these discussions, you know. And he was a really nice guy. He didn't just blow me out because I'm a foreigner. I took some prints. I gave him some prints. And he's like, who made these? I'm like, Sekine-san, I made these, you know. So once he knew I could do this, he cooperated. And one day I phoned them up, you know, hi, Mrs. Sekine, hi, how you doing? I'd like to put an order in. And she says, he died 6 months ago, you know. And I'm like, now you tell me. And the problem, of course, is brushes wear out. It's not a question of getting a good set of brushes and using them for the rest of your life. They wear out. I think we need a bit more yellow in there. I do. I think we need a bit more yellow. I'm going to reach over to Ayumi-san's desk. Shh, Ayumi-san's coming today. You can't muck with other people's colors, you know. She's got stuff on her desk that is mixed for the print she's making right now. You can't muck with it. You can't change their colors. But I can steal a little dab. Yeah, it's perfect. She's got a Yamabuki. It's a yellow color with a bunch of red mixed in. I'm going to steal a bit of it. I did this before, some years ago. I don't remember the time and entities, but I did this before. I was doing some test printing up here, and I stole a color from, it must have been Ishikawa-san. I went over to her bench and stole, you know, the cups are sitting here like this. Everybody's bench, you know, the cups are sitting here like this. And I went and I stole from one of her cups. I mixed it a bit, put water in, and dab into mine, and I put it back. And in the morning, whatever, she came the next day or later that day, and she said, who touched my print, my pigments? And I'm sitting here like, please, I'm not here just trying to disappear. And she turns on, looks at me and says, you took my blue, didn't you? She wasn't really super upset because I didn't damage anything, but I'm like, you took my blue. I'm like, just a dab. But how did she know? It's because I'm left-handed. And when I put it back, I had left it with the thing the wrong way around. So now with Ayumi-san, I've put it the right way around and she won't know. Ayumi-san doesn't watch these streams, so I think we're okay. The color thing too, remember, this is testing. And if I get a sort of a decent print today, I will then run another batch. Like today I said, I've got some darker green, lighter green, whatever. Then I'm going to have a darker red, lighter red. There's going to be no single print today from this testing that's going to be, that's the master copy. So this is test run number one with 4 sheets. Based on this, I will then choose the paper, Murata paper, or Iwano paper. I'll do another test run with maybe 8 sheets. Still testing. And again, trying deeper colors, trying different blends, maybe even replacing some of these colors, depending on what I find out. Then I will be closer to having a good master copy. Now, because they're in France and not nearby, I will scan that or photograph that and send it over to Oliver and Cecile and say, what do you think about this? And probably, because of they're not experienced printmakers, probably they're going to say, yep, that's good to go. They might say things like, Dave, can you drop the blue inside that bamboo because it doesn't look quite natural? And I will say, sure, whatever, let's do this. So we might need a third test run based on what they say. Once that's decided, then it's go. A full batch of paper will be prepared and away we go. And that should all be happening this week. Today's Thursday. So over the weekend, if things go well, we should be able to get a master copy. Then next week, I guess I will be doing the printing on this thing. Now what you see here actually is not what you're going to get. Part of this red will be visible in the finished print. Oh, it's all going to be visible. Part of it's going to be visible, but also part of the red, especially on that umbrella, it is going to be tinted with a shadow. And this is where things start to get complicated. Well, you'll see as we go forward this morning. Oh, it's already 9 o'clock. Whatever. Let's just keep at this. So part of this red will be natural, and part of this red will become tinted. And the problem then becomes they did their trial printing they did their trial run up in Photoshop. And when you layer things on top of each other in Photoshop, and when you layer the real colors on pieces of mulberry paper, it reacts, of course, very, very differently. So there may need to be some adjustments. It's possible maybe even one of these blocks would need to be recarved. We'll see. The registration, etc., looks good. Taran-san, I think, did a very careful job, of course. There's no problems. The kento marks that Taran-san has cut are very, very careful. I didn't expect any problems there, and I don't think there's going to be any. The registration, the red here fits in the lines. There's no places where the carver has been careless and the red has popped out of the line. If the carver's careless when they're pasting down the transfer sheets, if it twists, then at this point you're doing your color printing and stuff is not fitting in the lines, you've got a real problem. We don't expect any such problems here, and I certainly don't see any yet. Also with prints this small, it's a piece of cake. It's when they get yay big that you start to get difficulties. The paper swells and shrinks, the wood swells and shrinks. At this size and on plywood blocks, there shouldn't be any deviation whatsoever. Looking good. Looking good. That red might be a tad too deep because some of it is going to be tinted later. Let's see. That's that. What's next? What should we do next? Let's do some more fill-in colors. Where's the brown? Let's do this. Another brush. 1 second. I need a brush for sandy brown. I could use a red. red brush for that. There are some brushes for sand. Oh, that's too hard, too big. We have some brushes for cha, heavy cha. This one should do, I think. Let's see. So I'm saying, how do we clean the blocks? We don't clean the blocks per se. We don't try and get the color off the blocks. What we will do, today I'll do absolutely nothing, because the color that's on there now is really going to be the color, very close to the color we're going to use. If I had changed my mind and decided, oh my God, that red's not working, we need to make a green umbrella, I would desperately try and wash this red off here. But it's tough because the red has now gone into the wood. So we don't try and wash them off. What we will do and need to do, if I was running 200 prints here, for example, around the outside, pigment starts to build up in places where it doesn't get pulled off. And at the end of a printing session, yes, run it under the sink, get a toothbrush, and wash away the extra pigment that has started to build up on these blocks. We will do that for sure. But we don't need to wash them in the sense of getting rid of all the color. We wouldn't want to do that. The color on that block is a benefit for us, not a negative. These brushes, I'm not raiding anybody's tools. These brushes are house brushes. All the printers together use them. I'm not stealing anything. I own these things, so this is the workshop tools. There is a thing, each of the people working here has to decide how many tools they are going to accumulate for themselves and how many of the workshop tools they're going to use. And it's gone a different way. Dei-chan has started over the years to buy her own tools. She's ordered her own baran, and she's bought a couple of brushes here and there. Ishikawa-san, for the most part, she's a part-time housewife here. Rather than spending maybe $1,000 on one of these barons, she's quite content using the ones we have here. So it's all different. Aimi-san, next to me here, she's a baron maker, so she's got a baron she made by herself. To my knowledge, she uses our house brushes, I believe. So the tools I'm using here today, the baron and the brushes, I'm not stealing anybody's junk. These are my tools. They are our house tools. The pigment there I stole from Aimi-san, yes. What happens to the blocks after the printing is done? Do they get destroyed? No, these blocks are our capital. If things go well, if this series is popular, there will be another printer sitting here 50 years from now making prints from these blocks, long after I'm dead. These blocks are our capital. None of the work we do here is a limited edition. We are a printing company. We are not an art company. The work we did on these blocks will be used. Wow, she actually made a baron. Ayumi-san is a qualified, full-level, licensed baron shokuni. She's world class. She studied with Goto-san, basically the only living survivor of making barons. Title, this is not by Jet. Yeah. I think we want sandy wall. It's like the bottom of the bed. I think we're good to go. I might need a bit of a stronger baron. 1 sec, please. Let me see if I can get. We have barons and barons and barons. Does Amy Stan make barons for us? Not at the moment, I believe. She's got 2 preschool kids, and her husband's father is hospitalized in and out. So at the moment, she's making a living with the work she's doing for us here as a printer, and I don't believe she's accepting orders for Barron's. I know. We can ask her if you want, but I don't think that's happening right now. This block is dry. It's so thirsty. My God, it's thirsty. If I had any brains, I would have moistened it a half an hour ago. Let's do that with the next one. Just a sec. Okay, we've got a dark teal coming up. Let's moisten that wood. How much I've forgotten about this craft. Let's get the next block moistened and ready. Are there different kinds of Barons? Of course, there's sizes and strengths and widths. It's like buying shoes. Worse. Well, there's only, as far as professional Baron craftsmen goes, there's Goto-san is the main one left now. He's still making a living at this. Aimi-san got to that level, but she's become a housewife and a printer. Gosho-san, I don't think he's still active. I don't know. Really, there's only one professional craftsman left in Japan here doing that. There's just so little demand for it. Kids, it's a school group outside. They're headed for Sensoji Temple, I presume, or maybe they're headed for the concert hall. Middle school? What do you think? Middle school kids? Yeah, uniforms. Elementary school. Middle school. Could be grade 6 from a private elementary school. Not quite sure. They don't look like middle school uniforms. Yeah, it's a private elementary school and maybe it's grade 6. Not quite sure. All heading for Starbucks. They're either going to the concert hall, which is that red building I showed you at the beginning of the stream, or they could be going, of course, to the temple. Who knows? No idea. Okay, here's our junk test paper. Might be a bit too dark, I'm not sure. Let's see. Karen and Mods, thanks for explaining here. Thank you very much. I can't see all these questions, so thank you again very much, Karen. Thank you. This is Iwano paper. That might be too strong. Might be too strong to bear. The previous bird might be okay. There's another factor now that comes into play in these prints, and I will be wrestling with this very much over the next few days. The old ukiyo-e prints, black outlines, flat colors inside. Each of the flat colors was always pretty much flat. The color was smooth. There was no modeling or shading or roughness in each of the color patterns. Somewhere along the line, somebody invented the idea of doing gradations, and that started to appear. But for the most part, colors were flat, flat, flat. Along came the 20th century, the Shinhanga people, and they started playing, they and their publishers of course, started playing with different ideas for coloring. Color no longer had to be completely flat, color could be textured. And this place I'm printing right now is a perfectly good example of this. Am I going to take an approach to this with an ukiyo-e style, flat color, or am I going to let this color become rough and textured, like a brown wall would be in real life? Atelier Sento, when they gave me their ideas for this, they did it in ukiyo-e style with flat colors. But we, of course, we have the freedom here, meaning me and them, we have the freedom here to play around with this, to give them different moods and feelings. Dave personally prefers the flat color. We got a bit, did you see it on that last one there? There's color out in the margin. Now, there's two reasons for this. One is I'm careless, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, once the paper goes flat, I can't really see it, so I hit a place I shouldn't have hit. But I think also maybe what we'll do is we'll carve that down a bit deeper. This area here, I will take these blocks down to my chisels and we will chop away this area to make it less likely for the printer to make a mess there. Taran-san did nothing wrong, it's okay, but it's dangerous. It needs to be deeper there. So for now, I gotta wipe this. But once you're printing, you can't sit there and take the time to wipe each one. Remember where it is? Oh yeah, there's stuff in the middle here. How's our time? 9:24. Okay, I know, I think, if you're okay with it, it's up to you actually. I'm just going to keep going. The official stream here is 90 minutes long, but come on, let's just do this. It's not like I have to go downstairs and open the shop. I am going to be doing this. Let me just sit here and keep going. Hang around if you like. Someone's saying, I think the red could use a bit more gray. This is sheet number 1. We're going to look at this and adjust this and play this. I don't even have Atelier Sento's model in front of me. I told you, you're not going to see a finished, glorious woodblock print here today. You're going to see the first test print. The fact that we're doing this in public, my God, it's like me the other day with the paper making. Do we have enough confidence to do this with 1,000 people watching? So, on Monday, I hadn't planned to try dipping paper, let alone in public. And she turned to me and said, you want to do some? I was not ready for that. Absolutely, I wasn't ready for that. Excuses, excuses. Jason's coming over next week, and Jason is going to just laugh his pants off. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, on Monday's stream over in Echizen, Dave tried making paper. Okay, how many have we got left? The whole sky is still undone. What's left? The sky, which is going to be printed twice with a gradation. That's that. We're going to save that for the end. This block is the overtone on the greens. That will be teal. This will be teal. Let's do the teal. Then there will be another block, a dark lilac. Let's moisten that one too. There's lots more to come. If you looked at that print and thought it doesn't look very good yet, relax. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 more impressions to go. Now teal. Now what I could do, no, let's get another brush. It's okay. Let's get another brush. We'll use another one of these. I don't have any brushes, so for the teal color, I think I'd rather use green brushes than a blue brush. If there's anything left over in it, okay, this is now the same color tint exactly that I used for that second key block. You know, the color that we used for the distant stuff. I'm now going to use exactly the same pigment. We're going to put it on a bit darker and deeper. Okay, let's see. This is teal. I pre-moistened it. Good, good, good. And I'm now pre-moistening the next one. Water first to get the brush moistened up, the wood moistened up. Some paste. Now this block, compared to everything else we've done today, has more surface area. The carved areas are quite wide. Why not use the same teal brush from earlier? I looked at it, it's just a bit too small. If I'd have really thought this through, that earlier teal brush, two reasons I won't use it. One is it's a bit too small for this, and second is this afternoon I'm going to do this all again. And if I used the same teal brush I used earlier for swabbing it on now, I'd have to go and wash this. So I'm keeping the brushes here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because I'm going to do this again this afternoon. Here's the brushes I've used lining up. I won't be washing them now. I'll wash them at the end of the day. So this is test printing 1 this morning till about 10 or 10:30. Then this afternoon I will do it again. Now the depth on this, I have no idea. This is flying blind here. And here's where we start to get overlapping colors. This is going to overlap part of the brown. This is actually a shading block. It's overlapping part of the green bamboo, and it's overlapping part of the brown. Another school group. Hey. Yeah, in that case, they must be going to the concert hall. Somebody's coming through. If they're still coming, school kids, then it's not the temple. They're going to the concert hall. Ayumi-san, good morning. Good morning, good morning. We're just, we're live. This camera's live. Anything you say, いいですか?
大丈夫です。あ、いいです。こっちから入ります。
紙出せ。
そう。いや、大丈夫。
でもこの設定。
いやいや、大丈夫です。
I didn't take her paper out. I was just too busy with this thing. なんだ。いや、もう本当に今、絵の具も用意して、バタバタバタ。ごめんなさい。なんだ。Look at that. 2 strikes against her today. Look at this. Yeah, it's Chat's fault. Hey. 今、この人たちが今、いや、私たちのせい。
そんなこと
で、デイビッドと話したい。
大丈夫だよ。
よくあるケースは、よくあるケースは、ストリームが始まると、デイビッドさん、紙出しました。そう、いつもあります。Did somebody ask today? Did somebody ask back at the beginning? Did you take the paper out? Is it your fault? Tom 1060, are you here today? Or are you hiding now? The one day you don't remind me. Oh. いや、今日私本当にできるかできないかな、ライブで釣りともできないでしょう。絵の具の準備も全くできないし、新作品見本がないものですから。だからもうそうすると何でもいいんですが。何でもいいけどね。She's pretty easygoing. Things must be going well for her. あれ今カメラが消えちゃった。電源。
電源入れてた。ごめんなさい。
She killed the outside camera.
また人のとこから撮ってたの。そっちごめんなさい。
取って引っ張った。She killed the outside camera.
電気つけようと思ってここオンにして。今つけてる。
あ、そうか。そう。Okay. I get it. Okay.
なんでこっちから撮れない。
いや、もう合わないんです。Okay, she didn't try and do anything bad. The outside camera is plugged into her bench. It doesn't reach all the way here. So the outside camera, she has a group of plugs at the side of her bench for the light, for their foot pad heater, for charging their phone, for whatever. And part of her routine each morning, she sits down and boom, she hits the switch to turn it on. So she just hit the switch now and actually turned it off, and my outside camera is in there. So it wasn't a hostile mood here. So, and the thing about the pigment, I put the handle in the correct way, but that pigment is now wet. All her other pigments are dry, but the yellow one is wet because I put water in there and mixed it up. So if she's really a Sherlock here, she will open it up, see her pigments. Why is my yellow pigment wet? She could actually get me here.
取材の方来たそうですよ。
あ、下に？
うん。ショップで今。
はい。僕関係ないです。
あ、そうなんだ。ゆうさん関係ないね。
Now this testing stuff, this is the junk paper, of course. But now with this junk paper, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pigments on it. The junk paper, because it wasn't moistened, has warped and twisted. So that test I did just now gives us an image of the coloring, but it probably doesn't hit the registration. And you can see, look at this, look up at the top there. Registration doesn't match. It's irrelevant because this little junk piece of paper is twisted and distorted. I think I can lighten that a bit. I don't think I need it that dark. I'm not sure. Let's see. Someone's asking, I don't soak my brushes before printing. No way, no way, no way. I want this brush. I don't want extra loose water in here. If I had got the color wrong here now and had to wash it out, I need to go to the sink, wash out the pigment, and I got to get all that loose water out of the brush. We don't want wet brushes. Chaos. You'd never print proper with wet brushes. There's no way. And absolutely from Taran-san, I've got to cut some of these outsides now. These are not far, these are not cut away enough for Dave's taste here. We've got to do a bit of work on that block. Okay, again, Iwano paper first. 1, 2 is Iwano paper. Ami-san, 今日のテストですが、4枚入ってますから、一兵衛さんの紙2枚と新しいもらったペーパー2枚。ちょっと使えそうみ。大丈夫です。だから今のだから岩野さんとの紙と一緒に動作入れたんですね。だから動作のやる方法がもうちょっと薄くでも OK かどうかまだそこまでまだ分からない。で今岩野さんの紙と一緒入れてとりあえずのテストです。She's laughing at something. 何が笑ってますか？え、何？ I'm dissed. She found it. ちょっとだけ盗んだよ。こっちの方から。
あ、OK。
このこのWater in her yellow pigment. I'm caught.
なんかあれだね。東京って感じ。こういう。もう土地がなくてさ、こういうところに建てるしかない。
Actually, the other thing is too, the I can't show you because the cameras don't work that way, but the tripod, this camera, the tripod, 2 of the legs are on the carpet. The 3rd leg of the tripod is on her printing bench. so she's going to have to work around it for the next little while. So. 頑張ってください、皆さん。今のジョブ何？
KJ だっけこれ。
KJ のツツジじゃなくてアジサイ。She's doing back number printing on the Kyoto Journey series. The stream today is going to continue for 2 or 3 more colors until I get a rough sample of this thing. And we've got our first overlapping happening here. That brown now has a shadow on it. Some of the green up top now has a double layer on it. Soto うるさいでしょ。
なんかそうこっち側が工事してます。工事っていうかなんかでっかいトラック2台ぐらい止まってましたけど。
あ、じゃあ隣の内装ですね。家の内装です。
隣って
西宮さん、お店じゃなくて
上。牡蠣屋さんの上ってこと？
牡蠣屋さん。いや、そう。大家の西宮さんが全部家具とか壁全部取って、内装全部新しい家になりますから。結構もうゼロから。リフォームです。そう。もう大きなリフォームです。
じゃあずっとうるさいんじゃないですか。
まあしょうがないですね。前はもっとうるさかった。古いものを取るとき。 Okay, this is Murata paper. Hontoni, it's working, you know. Beautiful. I gotta call Murata-san at lunchtime. She's waiting, you know. Can Dave use my paper? Is it okay? Is it okay? Based on what I've seen so far, we are good to go. Next year's series will be made on new paper from the Murata workshop, period. Here it is. This is sheet number 3 in today's deck. This is the first sheet being made, the first ever print being made on her paper, and I am super happy with the way it's coming out. Super happy. I mean, if it can do this, it can do it all. Coming this far. I've seen a wet paper, 2 colors stacked up. This is not exhaustive testing yet, but this is doing what it's supposed to do. She should get the first one. She's not going to get the first one, but once we get a good print from this, maybe this afternoon's testing or tomorrow's testing, once we have a good print that I can publicly release, then she will definitely get one. And of course, she's going to be an honorary subscriber to next year's series. Of course, absolutely. Now, so interesting question. Can I feel the difference between rice powder and clay? At this point, what I'm doing, there's no way I can tell the difference. And if you had told me, Dave, one of these is rice, one of these is clay, which is which? I don't have a clue at this point. Later, when we're looking at the dried and finished print, will there be a different feeling? Will there be a different mood? Later on, as we get more experience, will we learn that there's a difference in the way the colors get embedded into the paper? Presumably. At this moment right now, there's too many variables involved, and there's no way I can make any sensible comment about the rice paper. Ami-san, 外のカメラがまた変になった。What's happened? Oh, it's gone into... Yeah, the camera's restarted. Okay. もしちょっと一回電源消して入れてください。また入れてください。今入れた。Good, thank you. It must be in demo mode. If it's a camera sitting in the sales shop, it goes into promotion mode after a couple of hours. Maybe it's always doing that, but we don't see it because we're over 90 minutes. Maybe at 2 hours, that'll be it. After 2 hours, it turns itself into demo mode. I think about this too, you can see we rub pigment on the block. The places where the paper touched, because of the pressure of the barren, the pigment was completely transferred to the paper. If I rub this, nothing, well, let's rub it with a clean finger. Rub it with a clean finger, nothing comes off. The pigment has all been transferred. The other areas where the paper didn't touch still has the pigment on it. So next time when we brush, we don't need to add 100% pigment anymore, because the pigment that is in the lower areas gets spread around and comes back up on top of the printing areas. Okay, let's move along. What's next? What's next is lilac. And let's moisten the sky block. That's going to be a killer today, the sky block. Okay, lilac. And I need another brush. Lilac の場合は青のハケ。
まあ赤か青か。
赤か青でしょ。大丈夫でしょ。うん。大丈夫ですよ。特にブルーオンリーのようなハケとかなんかありますか。
あ、でも愛って書いてあるのは青ですよ。
でも例えば水色の場合は使っちゃいけないでしょ。
あとかあんまりでも。
これから空水色。
ああ、まあ分ける。そうですね。
じゃあ
ちっちゃめのとか、うん、それ。
じゃあ空の場合。
空って書いてあるのありません？あ、それ大きいのでもいいけど。
これ OK ですか？
大丈夫ですよ。はい。
OK。じゃあ心配は水色だけはけ。ちょっと赤とかなんか入れたら大変。
でも水空って書いてあるのがあるんで。
あ、そうですか。OK。OK。OK。The idea of the brush is we've got blue, blue, red, 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 blue. But when I was working as a printer just by myself, I kept a separate blue brush for what we would call mizuiro, light blue, sky or light water. And I never used that brush for anything that would have lilac or red or anything else in it. Like I said, the overlapping happens. In fact, I had purple brushes myself. I don't see any purple. ここにないですね。紫の考えたハケがないですね。僕個人の時に青いろいろ、水色専門、赤いろいろ、それからパープル、ライラックとかあったんですが、今ないですね。
ないです。だからその混ざってる色みたいなのない。
We don't have 200, but yeah, we got a lot. We got a lot. We've got, 100 plus. And we've got more in the drawer that we haven't used yet. Okay, this is going to be tough. This is tough for a few reasons. This now is a shadow tone block. We're going to print, look at this. We're printing on top of the red umbrella. We're printing on top of the ground. We're printing on top of the brown fence. This is another tone block to darken and deepen the front of the print and make the focus go to the back and the sky and the rocket. This is going to be difficult to balance. The Photoshop version I got from the designers, it's sort of balanced, but the way they did Photoshop is whatever. It's different than real life. So this block may be too much dark in some places, and I think we may have to take some of this wood off here. We don't know yet. So what you're about to see is experimental. If the gods are really shining down and are nice to me, we will be really close to a nice finished print today. But this one is tough. We're going to use a dark purple. It'll be lilac in real life. Okay, maybe we can also explain that too, how this goes on. We mix in the bowl way darker than what we want to see in the print. And the pigment will have white paper showing through. I think what we're going to be looking at is perhaps something like that. We want a dirty lilac shadow on the ground. But to get that, because we have white paper and transparent pigments, we need to mix it darker. But there's no way I'm going to swab this across the block. We're going to use paste, water, and we're going to put some of this pigment not directly on the wood. We're going to put some of this pigment on the tile, which already lightens it up, and I'm going to scoop just a bit off this tile. More paste. And totally junk piece of paper to see what we're playing with. Is there something we can mix with the pigment to make it less strong, more transparent? Yeah, it's called water. I'm going to start light. I'm going to try printing at this level and then crank it up, crank it up, crank it up, and see how far we have to go. If I start too dark, it's much more difficult to pull it back down. And this impression is not going to be a smooth, beautiful beta. ここにもありますよ、もし足りない。
ありがとうございます。
夜のまで逆さまじゃないでしょ。
うん、そうそうそう。
なんだ。Use your brain, あゆみさん。逆さま入れたらすぐ出てますよ。
そうだけど、逆さにしないでもできる。
うん？
振れば。
いや。Does this mean I will miss the winter print? I'm not sure what the question is. I'm sorry. You started December 1st. Yeah, you're interesting. You're in the Patreon and you're in a difficult situation. You would get the winter print first. Now this year it doesn't matter actually because the winter and spring, summer prints are not a pair. So you will get your print in after 3 months in February, and it will be the winter one. Then next you'll get will be the spring one. But this year it doesn't matter which one you get first because they're not a pair. They're not one single picture this year. Okay, let's try this. It might be too dark. I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's use this other. Let's use our two. We didn't get the red. Haha, I forgot to do the red one. This block, oh, it's too deep. This block is doing a bunch of different things. It's toning and shading the foreground. It's underneath that blue. It's underneath some of the brown, toning the red, and it's going to fill in some of the things in the distance that were on the teal. Let's put it on real paper so we can see what's going on. Might be too bluey. Oh, camera again, Emi-san. Just off on. いいですか? So, no, I'm gonna have to go outside. There's a demo mode on the camera. I'm gonna have to turn it off, demo mode. So. I guess after the first 2-hour period, it switches to 10 minutes. We're testing 4 sheets of paper here. This is Iwano paper. Here's the before. I'm gonna need a protection sheet. The paper's too wet here. Now the paper's too wet and soft. I can't give it a full power rub here. Okay, just a second. Before I do the next one, I'm going to need backing. We've now done, the paper's too wet. What we've done over the past 2 hours, we've added water, added water, added water. The paper now is a bit too moist. I can't rub full power with the barrel. It would tear it in a minute. So we have a way to get around this. Hasami yarimasu. Oh, look at this. Thank you. Now, 紙びしょびしょになった。いやだから何回も何回も重ねて。We have a cooking sheet. What's it called? I don't know. People make cookies on it. 今質問ですか、アミさん、デイビッドは紙出さなかったんですか？もう今、すりが始まったんですから、どうする？どうやって？
今手で温めました
何？
剥がしながら手で温めて、まだ多分すぐにはできないから板作るけど、今紙を1枚ずつ1枚とか2、3枚剥がして手で温めて。
She doesn't have all that many sheets. She's taken the top 10 or whatever and peeled them off one by one, spread them out. She's struggling with it. Now, the paper may be really, really cold. Actually, it won't hurt. What could affect it is the size, the shrinking. But the paper being too cold actually wouldn't make any difference. Oh, did I do that in front of the microphone? I'm sorry about that. Yeah, gomen. Sorry. Okay, I think we can crank that up a bit. This is all testing. Let's crank it up.
あれ墨って
Ah!
よかった。
水入れなかったよ。
あ、オッケーオッケー。
何もそのまま。
はい。
僕そこから取ってだけです。Oh, I'm outed now. I also stole her sumi, and it was still on my desk. I totally forgot. The key block was done with her sumi. That's it. I'm officially now dead. She's smiling because, like, people are watching. They never touch each other's stuff, ever. Absolutely. It's okay. She knows the situation that I don't have a workbench here, so it's actually sort of okay. But in real life, they never touch each other's stuff at all. They get advice from each other. They chat about different things with each other. And maybe they might borrow. If you have any blue or something you're not using right now, they will do that. But without permission, they would never touch each other's stuff. Okay, we've dialed up that lilac to a bit stronger. Let's see. I think we're looking okay. We're looking within bounds, and the paper is taking this. I was afraid the paper might start to feather at the top. Kebadachi mattaku nai. 3回重ねても大丈夫。ちょっと見てください。この重ね。今新しいもらった紙です。あと2色。まあ、すりは下手。それデイビッド今の何年の間にやってないんですが、紙だけ見ると使えそうな紙ですか？月曜日作った。
なんかでも触り心地あれですね。
何が？
触った感じ結構
柔らかい。
なんかわかんない、なんて言うんだろう。
あ
んまり水を含んでなさそうな示し方とかじゃなくて、結構なんていうの、触り心地が乾燥してるっていうか、ツルツルしてるわ、ゴワゴワしてる。
香りないお米。 お米で作ってあります。
綺麗だね。発色も。
There's 2 more colors to go. The 2 colors will go on the same block. And they're going to be gradations. And for this I need new clean brushes. I'm taking my life in my hands here with one of these because it's going to be difficult. ぼかしはそれは青青青青青青青下でない。
やだね。
あの方、じゃあだから紙に、はい、Thank you。誰が意図しました？What am I going to do for this next one? Okay, let me get what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brushes. We used so far, sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the brush for the blue sky. I need one more green brush. One sec. Oh, I see. 空ありますね。でも小さいですよね。
いや、そうそう、ちっちゃいんですよね。
Outside. Click, click. Ask her, don't ask me. When it goes bad, ask her. Okay, now gradation. Gradation, gradation, gradation. So I don't have proper tools. Let's see, let's make this up here. I'm going to use some, what's it called? Not kitchen paper, I know. Shop towels? I forget what this stuff's called. I can't tear it, it's so strong. I need a clean tile. That's not clean. Okay, that's too much water. Okay, what we've got is a piece of shop toweling dipped in water and squeezed out. That's going to be my gradation moistener. And if I do this right, it will stay in exactly the same place, exactly the same orientation I will wipe it across the wood, put it back in the same place. Wipe it, put it back in the same place. Now, pigment. The other thing is the brush. And I guess the staff here does things a different way. Dave's pattern, I've lost my pencil. Dave's pattern is to make a mark at the bottom end of the brush. I usually circle one of these nails. And that tells me which end of the brush has the pigment, because if I get it mixed up, we're screwed. So the brush is going to stay there. Pigment at this end, nothing at that end. So we have a moistening pad, we have the block, we have the brush, and the pigment we're going to put on, we're going to use some of this green, very light. And it's going to take me 2 or 3 passes till I figure out what we're doing here. The kid's coming back. Nay, that means they must have gone to Sensoji. They wouldn't go to the concert hall. We moisten the area that the gradation is going to happen. We put paste up at the other area, and a tiny bit at the top. We pick up some pigment. We should get a sort of gradation effect. There we go. Let's see how this is going to work out. Maybe I can put a bit directly here. Let's see. This is our craft paper, of course. The green's too strong. We want just a faint tint in the distance. So we're not going to add any more pigment just yet. Is there a risk that brush hairs are left on the block? Yes, there is indeed. And look, here's one right there. There's a brush hair. Has to come off. That's an issue here too. We have sort of too many brushes here. Well, not too many, but we have a lot of brushes here. And if there's a brush that sort of doesn't find its way into regular rotation and doesn't get used, it dries out too much. And then when the next person comes to use it, it sheds hairs all over the place. So the brushes sort of need to be used regularly. If they're not, then yeah, it's a problem. Okay, let's try a real print. That was all on junk paper. Let's try one on real washi. As usual, you want a paper first. And again, it's all too wet. We're going to need this. For sure we're going to need this. I'm not going back and forth exactly 180 degrees. It's a little tiny bit of movement to bring the pigment out bit by bit up into the rest of the brush. And also I'm moving here, I'll exaggerate, here, here, here. Too much movement vertically will cause trouble as the pigment migrates too far. Again, everything stays in exactly the same place. If you allow this to move, you're toast. The pigment will move to a different location. How much water? This paste, of course, should be over here so I can reach it easily. This is not my normal printing bench. I don't have a printing bench anymore. Also, too, all these pigments should be at my left-hand side. I'm a lefty, so all the stuff should be the other way around. This whole bench setup is for a right-handed printer. Okay, now we have Murata paper. Camera, please, on sound. Okay, no, not anymore. Hi, okay, thank you. Eh? Yeah, delay, I don't know. No idea. いや違うデモが出たみたいでしょ。今 OK です。今 OK。I think we've never had a stream this long using that camera. It must have a demo mode or a bunch of different demo modes. A bit light. We could use a bit more on that, I think. Let me up it for the next one. We're still supposed to be testing. One more to go. What I've been doing too, it hasn't been visible to you, I've been stacking them up face up, number 1, 2, 3, 4. At the end of every color, I then flip them so that one is on the top, ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. And we do that with 4 sheets. We do the same thing with 100 sheets. They're face down in there now, and when they go out to the out stack, they go face up, 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 so that when you flip them, number 1 is still on the top. Okay, now we're going to do the same block, the same piece of paper, but instead of a bottom-up gradation, we're going to go top down. We've only done 4, so this is still clean. I'm going to flip it, put the green inside, and I'm going to use the top side. But actually, we're going to use the same zone because the gradation is going to be at the bottom of this one. This is a toughie. That's green. Now this one's tough. We want the full sky to be blue, but nothing at the bottom. This is a tough one. This is where they separate the men from the boys, the Ayumi-sans from the turkeys. If it was a simple gradation down from the top, it's okay. But we want solid blue through the whole sky, but nothing on that edge area. This is going to be tough. The parchment paper, it's because I have done this too quickly. The same 4 sheets of paper have had no chance to rest and relax. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 impressions on this, and that paper is soft and yelling for a break. If I put the Baron right on the back of it, it would tear the paper. So I'm using that parchment stuff to protect the paper. If we were doing this normally, like Ayumi-san, she's doing 1 color, 100 sheets, next color will come tomorrow, the paper has a chance to relax, no problem. It's because we have an accelerated schedule here this morning. And normally, we always do this. When it's test printing, it is always ever thus. Okay, let's see. Now I need my soda iro. Not sure if this is the right color. This is also a little bit tealy. Do you see the color there? You can see it in the cup. This is not really mizuiro. This is a light teal. So there's going to be a blue sky here with a tint of green in it. Why not use 2 separate blocks, 1 for each gradation? It's much more efficient this way. It's the same sky area. You could print this thing 10 times. You could do another gradation at the top like the Hiroshige style did. No way would I want to carve 2 blocks for exactly the same shape. No way. Pointless. Now again, moisten the bottom end. Put my color now. I'll put the top. Oh, it's too much actually, Dave, too much. Let's see. Use our junk paper. Oh, Iwano paper. We have 4 sheets left. And absolutely we need the back protection for this. Absolutely. It would tear straight away. Tamp it down. Pressure. Should have put more paste. It's okay. Sheet number 1. I can see lots of places where we need to adjust this. The bamboo color in the forest is too light. You can see this already. This is why we test. Part of this thing, putting light colors in first and darker ones come later. Just a minute, Dave, just a minute. To concentrate just a minute. We'll look at the colors later, just a minute. Are we still here? I think the sky could be richer, right? We could deepen that sky. Let's live dangerously. Camera, お願いします。はい、Thank you 今日のスポンサーはソニーですね。動作がちょっと硬すぎかな。それはちょっとジャンクだからこの和紙は優しいかなと思ったんですね。で今ちょっと夏のロスでしょ、45とか。 もっと優しいのかどうするかな。次のグループ30。Million kids outside. 小学生かな。遠足か留学か遠足でしょ。There we go. This is sheet number 4, the second sheet with Murata-san's paper. I am a happy camper. I am a very, very happy camper. Let's get some light. Hang on a sec. How can I do this? Will it stand up here? This light's too bright. この明かりをもっと優しくするとできますか？お、off。あ、なんだ。
いや、わかんない。それ私のやつじゃないから。
Oh, it's too bright or it's off. There's no way to get it. Sorry. You can't turn down the light, whatever. It's too bright. Okay, if I move it away. Well, it's the natural room light now. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is all for a test. There we are. Oh! Here we go. Okay, there we are. First test printing on the first print from next year's subscription series. The subscriptions go live somewhere around December 15th, December 20th. A bunch of things we've learned today. This print you're looking at now is made on paper that was made last Monday. Last Monday's stream, the very piece of sheet you're looking at now was one of the sheets she made in the first part of the stream on Monday. She made 7 sheets of paper. This is one of those 7. After lunch, she made 10 more. I brought back 17 sheets with me. So this is the second time you've seen this sheet of paper. And this is good to go. So we can announce a few things. This is going to be our subscription series for next year. It'll be the same price as this year. It's going to be made on Murata-san paper, and the January print up to a level of about 200, whatever time I've got. The first 200 subscribers or so, you'll get sheets because I'm going to sit here printing this damn thing myself. After that, they will go out to our staff printers. Kubota-san, I think, is waiting to do this. It won't be exactly what you see here. I can see already this bamboo. It's too light, the part at the top. We've got to darken that green. Maybe the sky will be darker. Maybe the brown also. I've been light fingered here. It's going to be darker, I think, on some of these. Doesn't matter. That's coming next. Are we going to use the sheet you made? No, we're not. Whatever. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I have had a ton of fun. Last night I was thinking, Jesus, can I do this? Because I just haven't printed so much in recent years. But maybe it's like riding a bicycle. You kind of, you can kind of still do it. Do I have the physical power to make 200 sheets in the next 2 weeks? We're about to find out. I think that's it. There's no show and tell today. Obviously, we've come an extra time and nothing else to say. I've got to get back to work. Thank you very, 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 very much for this. Should we put up the outside camera? No, I want to leave this picture here. I want to leave this here. Thank you very much. Hontoni, thank you very much for the cooperation. Signing off. See you on Saturday. There'll be a normal stream Saturday. I might be doing more printing up here. If I do, it won't be what you see today, multicolored. It'll just be one color, bang, bang, bang. But also, I might also be carving, because we have a New Year card to make, and I'm not quite sure about how to work that. Carving or printing. Anyway, see you on Saturday morning. Thank you very much. See you later. 3, 2, 1, and thank you to Mr. Sony.